Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And I'm over here hanging with my guest Bridget today. This is one of my mannequins, one of many. Her name's actually Bridget. I didn't make that up. But today's video is going to be all about hair extensions, and it is the first of a 5-part series video that is going to cover everything you would ever need to know about hair extensions. You're probably thinking like, okay Brie, what the hell do you know about hair extensions? And let me tell you, everything. So if you guys don't know, I am a licensed cosmetologist, but I was also an educator for a hair extensions and airbrush makeup company. Basically, I would travel around 4 different Midwestern states was my territory, and I would certify both cosmetology students as well as licensed stylists and about 4 different hair extension methods and 3 different brands, and that's what I used to do. Thousands of people have been certified by me. Thank you so much. All right, moving on. Credentials, moving on. I tried to get as many types as I could to show you guys, but there are some that I don't have, so I'm gonna start with what I don't have. And so that would be any type of weave, like a sew-in or a glue-in, and then box braids, as well as cold fusion. Don't have any of that to show you. And then, you know, the feather, the bangs, and the ponytail. Bangs are just temporary clip-in bangs, and then obviously the ponytail. And then I have a few others such as clip-ins, and then halos. And then last but not least, we have some tape-ins, and we have beaded weft, and then you have your U-tip keratin fusion or keratin bonded extensions, as well as your I-tip beaded extensions. And I actually have those here for you to show. This is what a halo type looks like, and this is like an alternative to clip-ins. This is a temporary hair extension piece. You would take this out at the end of the day. You would not sleep in this, you would not wash your hair in this, you would not go swimming in this, okay? Then of course, I have clip-ins. These have been my newest obsession. God, it's so much hair everywhere. So I have like a whole table full of all of this hair extensions. See how much hair I have on the table in front of me. And this isn't even all of it. This is just one of each type of hair. Anyway, so this is like a typical clip-in weft. These are actually my Guy Tang Bellami Balayage ones. And so you can see it has the clips actually sewn in to the weft. And if you see, these actually also have like silicone to give it like an extra grip. But these are another temporary solution. This was one of the heads that I used to teach with. It's really old. I have a lot of heads, but we're in the process of moving, so I could not find them. This was the only one I could find. It's really falling out. But if you see here, this is actually coming out. This is a beaded weft extension. This is a gentler alternative if you have a hair texture such as mine that cannot take a glue-in or a sew-in. This is a great alternative. Anyway, so there's that. Next is a tape-in. You can see it here. It's two 1.5-inch wefts, and it has a medical grade adhesive on the back, and you sandwich it around a thin parting of hair, and you get these. These are my favorite type of extensions. Okay, they're so easy. I have my old set here. Clearly my hair is also not this color anymore. You can kind of get a gist of, you see the tape still on it, and you just sandwich it, and there you go. This was like waist-length mermaid Barbie hair. It was amazing. Tape-ins, they're my favorite. You're a stylist, well, tape-ins will save you so much time. What's next is the typical like keratin fusion. If you want to see here, you can see that it's actually a piece of keratin that is wrapped around hair strands. Very flexible, very like well hidden. And then last but not least, we have the beaded here. And you can see it's a little hard piece of keratin that is by itself, and you stick that with hair and then you clamp it with the bead onto the hair. So those are the 4 methods that I used to teach. So a quick little like cheat sheet for when it comes to hair lengths and you're not sure what to order. 12 inches is gonna give you like a bob, all right? Then you go to 16 inches is typically the next. It's kind of hard to even find 12 inches. You're gonna basically start with 16 and then you'll cut it to a 12. 16 is gonna hit like just below your collarbones, all right? Then you're gonna go to 18 inches, which is gonna hit like right below your boobs. Then you're gonna go to 20 inches, which will hit between under boob and belly button. 22 inches will hit at the belly button, and 24 inches will hit at your hips. So when it comes to knowing the thickness of hair extensions, it's weighted by the grams is how you're gonna figure out how much hair that you would be getting. And you're gonna also wanna make sure that your hair is always double drawn. That means it's gonna maintain the same thickness all the way to the ends. The reason that you want this is because after you apply the extensions, you need to layer them and blend them to the real hair. So if you're cutting into already like really thin, wispy hair, it's gonna look extremely mullety. If you do not blend it, it's gonna look mullety. You don't want the extensions to be obvious. Even if it's at your hips, you don't want it to be obvious. If anybody that you don't know tells you that they like your extensions, that's not a compliment, okay? That means you got some wonky extensions. Like, people should not be able to know. If you are going for a very drastic change, you're gonna need a lot more hair than you would even if you just wanna add a little bit of length, just because you need to make it very thick to appear natural. So, like I said, you're gonna be cutting into it because you have to layer and blend it. And if you're cutting into it and it's already like really thin, that's not gonna be cute. And so you really need it to maintain that thickness all the way to the ends. So typically I don't recommend going longer than like double your natural hair length. So if your hair is here, I really wouldn't recommend hip length, just because that means there would be layers all the way down, and that's a lot of layers. All right, like I don't know. That's kind of my rule of thumb. That's not a rule, that's just my rule. So you want it, eat your heart out, you do you. Just know, crazy expensive once you get to that length. So I think the like utmost minimum amount of hair I would ever recommend for somebody, this would be if they had extremely fine or thin hair, that would be 140 grams, okay? That is like the least amount that you would need, all right? So then if you have thinner hair, I would typically go for about like 160 grams. If you have thinner hair but you want a lot of length, go to like 180 for a full head of extensions. All of these that I'm talking about are for a full head. If you don't want it for a full head, disregard this section of my video. All right, 180 grams to 200 grams is like medium hair. So if you want like, I feel like 180 would be if you just want more volume, and then 200 would be if you want volume and length on medium hair. If you have medium to thicker hair, I'd go with 220, 240, 250. If you have thick hair, 250 plus. If you have super thick hair, wouldn't really, it's kind of rare if somebody needs to go higher than that, but that's for thick hair. So that would be the lowest and like the highest that I would typically go gram-wise for hair. So there are so many different uses for extensions, and this always surprises people because they didn't know that there's all these uses for them. They just be like, oh, you get really long hair. Yes, that is the main thing of extensions, but that is not the only use of it at all, okay? That would be like one tiny smidgen of everything that extensions can do. So yes, they can add length, volume, you can add like the thickness. If your hair is compromised, or if you don't want to permanently alter it, then you can add highlight and low light strands throughout your hair, as well as any type of fashion color would be great for that. You can also create a balayage ombre. That's typically what I actually use extensions for, so I don't have to lighten my dark hair anymore. You can switch up your hair color. You can help grow out a haircut. So if you have like a pixie and you're trying to grow it back out, but you always go back to your pixie because you can't get past your awkward phase, you can use extensions to help with that transition and just give you like a little chin length bob. And I know that that's helped a lot of clients get through that phase. Or you can just, use it to change any type of haircut. If you have like an A-line bob and you want it to be a graduated bob, then you can add longer extensions in the front, blend that forward, boom. If you want your hair to look a lot more layered than it is, you can add some extensions to get that V kind of shape haircut in the back with a long layer. You can actually change up your hair texture with, also if your hair does not hold a curl, such as mine. This is really great because your extensions will hold a curl and your hair kind of stays around those extensions, so it makes you look like you have nicer hair than you do if you hate your hair. And if you accidentally cut a hole in a client's haircut, or if they have alopecia or just a very thin spot but their hair doesn't grow as much, then you can add an extension there to kind of help fill that section back up. So that's like the main things. Then there's also any type of holiday. Extensions are great, like St. Patrick's Day, even like breast cancer or anything. You can just, school colors. These are like super popular with cheerleaders to put like the single strands of the fashion colors in them. So that's another thing, like I said too, like the feathers and just any little flash of color. So I'm gonna go over some extension terms, and these are some words that you may come across in your search for buying any type of hair extensions. And when I do say this, I mean in your search for buying any type of temporary, such as a clip-in or a halo hair extensions. Do not try to buy like actual permanent hair extensions yourself. Go to a stylist, please. These are a few of the words that you might find, and the first one is going to be Remy, okay? And what that means is it means that the cuticle of the hair is still intact. It means that the cuticle is all lying in the same direction, so it's gonna be very smooth, it's gonna be less frizzy, it's not gonna get all caught up on itself. Moving on, you're going to have virgin. Alright, so a virgin is going to be virgin hair, and it means that it is not colored or not processed, meaning relaxed or permed. So obviously it's going to go through, you know, sanitation processes, but if you're getting virgin hair, it's never been colored, alright? That is some rare hair. Also, I think I should just put a little disclaimer that if you are ordering hair extensions and you want it to be a color that's not like really dark brownish black, most likely it is not going to be virgin hair, because all of these different colors do go through a process to get to this shade. Next is going to, you're really going to want to look for this, and it is 100% Remy human hair. Once again, I'll get into the human hair part in my next video, but this is, many extensions are a mix of human and high heat resistant synthetic or even yucky animal hair, and you're gonna want 100% human hair, okay? And it is gonna be more expensive, but it is the quality that you are looking for. It is actually gonna behave the same way that you expect hair to behave, as opposed to, you know, an animal hair or a petroleum-based hair plasticky thing. And so some say that they are, or they'll like allude to be like, oh, we're 100% human, but it's not. And so that's like a little sketchy gray area, so you need to be like really careful and just look for 100% Remy human hair. Big one there. Okay, next thing you're gonna see is keratin. You'll most likely hear this like keratin fusion method when you think of keratin. Keratin is actually the protein that your hair is made out of. That is what keratin is. So a keratin fusion method is not damaging to your hair if done correctly, because it's literally what your hair is made out of. Like, that's not damaging. But go to a licensed stylist who is trained in hair extensions and you will have no issues. Don't try to do it yourself. Don't do this at home, kids. And next you're gonna know what a weft is. And a weft is like a long sheet of hair, alright? So I actually have like a clip-in weft. This is a weft, alright? And so it may already be trimmed, it may be 6 feet long, and you need to trim it to your client's head. And you can either do clip-ins, you can do a halo, or you can do like the weft beading method with a weft. But that is what a weft is, alright? This is also considered a weft, like the tape-in weft, alright? It's like a sheet of hair. Alright, so in my next video, I'm going to be covering where did hair extensions hair come from? Alright, so this is actually more exciting than where did babies come from? And I will be going over a lot of really freaky and really fun information, so if you want to be notified when that video goes up, click that subscribe button. It'll give you a notification as soon as I upload my next video. Alright guys, it's been great. Thank you for watching this video. I love you all so much. I'm very grateful for each and every one of your views, and I hope you have a great day. Stay glam. And Bridget says bye too. You guys, guess what? I know the secret. I know the secret of what happened to Becky with the good hair. You don't mess with Beyonce. That was bad. Oh man, you can't, like, if you're, I thought I could go for it because like Beyonce. You know, that one bitch that sends your boyfriend DMs. No, don't bark. Yes, highlight come through. Ooh. I've never had like a pop-in highlight before.